So what is a rate confirmation? So the rate confirmation is basically an agreement between the broker and your carrier, which details the information about the shipment and the rate. So as I've mentioned before, once you book the load and you confirm with the broker that you're interested and you want to book it, the broker will send you the rate confirmation, and what you'll have to do is you want to make sure you review the rate confirmation and validate that all the information within the rate confirmation is aligned with what you and the broker had agreed on the phone. And once you've verified that everything is correct, you'll sign the rate confirmation using tools like Adobe to sign the document, or you can print it out and sign it by hand. And you just send that back to the broker. And now you guys have a legal binding document that says that your carrier is responsible for moving freight from point A to point B for the agreed amount rate. So within the rate confirmations, you want to make sure that you read any special notes or instructions that your driver must be aware of before picking up the freight. So examples can be things like a broker might put in a late fee if the load is not dropped off on time, and you want to make sure that's you read this in the notes, and if that's the case, you want to inform your driver that if the load is not picked up on time or dropped off on time, there's going to be a late fee. Another thing that you might see on the rate confirmations is things like verbiage about the proof of deliveries must be emailed within 48 hours, and if not, there will be deductions on the rate. So you want to make sure you relay any of these important informations to your driver after booking the freight. So if there's any discrepancies within the rate confirmations, you want to attend to them immediately with the broker, and you want to make sure that the broker fixes these issues on the rate confirmation and sends you a revised rate confirmation. You want to make sure that you're not just agreeing with the fix on the phone. You need it to be in writing. So you need the rate confirmation to be revised. So for example, if the pickup date is not listed correctly on the rate confirmation, it's not what you agreed on when you were talking to the broker on the phone, you want to make sure that the broker knows this and fixes it and sends you the revised rate confirmation. So now let me show you some examples of what rate confirmations look like. So I went ahead and pulled up a few rate confirmations for us to go through. Now these are legitimate rate confirmations, and these are loads that we've actually done in the past. And I went ahead and redact a few important information just to keep things private for our carriers. So we'll go ahead and start up from the top. So you'll have the broker's information typically here at the top, and then you'll have your carrier's information as well. So this broker is PLS Logistics Services, and you'll see the most common thing that you'll see on every rate confirmation is a load ID number. So it's also referred to as load number. It's just a number that basically is used when it's time to invoice your broker. They'll refer to this load number to pull it up in their system. So for this broker, they have their load ID here on the top left corner. They have also a shipment ID number, and they have a bill of lading number. And then here is the carrier contact information. So this is going to be our carrier's information. So their name, DOT number, contact information. And then this is the PLS contact. So this is for the broker. Next, you'll have the shipment details. So this is going to include the pickup number. And a pickup number is basically the number that your driver is going to provide to the shipper for them to pull it up in their system and know which load to load on the truck. So other things you'll have on the rate confirmation is the weight. So you want to make sure that this weight is what your broker had told you initially when you're on the call. And then you'll have the equipment type necessary for this load. So this is a dry van load, so it says van here. So this Raycon has the miles, and this is from shipper to receiver, and then commodity. So it seems like here the commodity is not listed, but we know that it's 23 pallets. So next you'll have the stop details. So this is basically the origin and then destination. So the origin, you'll have your pickup number and then any appointment numbers. And typically this is the same thing, appointment number, pickup number. It's just, written here twice, it seems. But you'll have the address of the shipper. So this is where the load will be picked up at. And a contact information is typically provided for the shipper. But in most cases, brokers like to hide that information. But you can find it if you Googled the shipper's name. The numbers typically pop up. Next, you have the date and time for this load. So this one is December 9th is when it's going to be picked up. When it's been picked up. So at 1900, that's the time for the pickup. So it looks like there's no additional facility notes. So it's just empty here. Next, we'll have the destination, and the delivery number is typically the same thing as like the pickup number. Some receivers will ask for this. Some, they just take your bill of lading that your driver has and just look at the documents, and they already know what that commodity is and where it's coming from. So this is the address for the receiver, and then the appointment time. So this receiver, it seems like it's the load delivers on the 12th from 8 till 3:30. So it seems like this is a first come first serve facility, and that there's no appointment time for this load. So we'll scroll down. It looks like there's no additional notes here. But this is the special requirements for this load. So this is PPE required, so personal protection. It says here that loads must be properly secured and sealed prior to departing. This is kind of the stuff that I was talking about earlier, how you want to make sure you read through this and see if there's anything important that your driver must know about. So here it says, notify a broker prior to leaving the shipper. Failure to do so will result in a $200 reduction if the product needs to be reworked for any reason. And so just, you want to read through this and make sure that information like that is relayed to your driver. So we'll scroll down and you'll see the rate for this load. So this load is paying $11.91 to move the freight. I think it's 220 miles. And then you'll have the additional terms and conditions and details, and here you'll see the emails and numbers for their accounting team. So once the load is delivered, if your carrier works with a factoring company, what they'll do is they'll provide this rate confirmation along with the proof of delivery to the factoring company, and the factoring company, what they'll do is they'll invoice the broker, and they have all this information in their systems, typically about, any big broker, they'll have their billing information, so they'll just invoice them directly. However, if your carrier does not work with a factoring company, then this information is going to be pretty important for you. This is the billing information, so when it's time to get paid, your carrier will most likely have you send out the bill of lading and the invoice along with the proof of delivery to the billing department for it to get processed. But yeah, that's the basic rate confirmation. I'll go ahead and switch over to another one to kind of show you what the other one looks like. So this is a rate confirmation by C.H. Robinson. It's another pretty big broker. And for C.H. Robinson, they'll have the load confirmation number, which is the load number, or load number is, as I've mentioned before, is the number that brokers use for their own internal system. So it's different than a pickup number. A pickup number is a number that's used at a shipper that your driver must provide so that the shipper knows what freight to load on the trailer. So for this one, as you can see, it's going to show the load was booked with, and then the broker's information will be listed here. And then the equipment that's required is a van, your basic dimensions for a van here. And then this is the customer requirements. So these are additional information that your driver must know about before picking up the load. So it says here that the driver must scale in and out, and then no reefers, rails, containers, or heated trailers, no roll-up doors. So you want to make sure your driver's trailer is doesn't have roll-up doors. But yeah, so some other basic stuff here, like no smoking and stuff like that when the driver's at the shipper. And here's the shipper information. This looks like it's a recycling facility, and this is their contact information. This is the pickup date, and the pickup window seems like this is not by appointment, but rather it's a first come first serve facility. So here's the commodity. It's cardboard boxes. Weight is 43.5, and this is in bales. So this isn't palletized. So the commodity is not palletized. Basically, it's in bales. So here's some other instructions for the shipper. So again, you want to make sure if there's anything important here that your driver knows. But when you sign this rate confirmation, send it back to the broker, you'll also send the rate confirmation to your driver as well. So he'll see all this information, but sometimes drivers fail to read the special instructions. So make sure you communicate that with your drivers. So this one for receiver instructions, it says must follow strict safety procedures, etc. And for this load, looks like it's paying $803. So, and this is the submit freight bill to, and your basic information here, terms and conditions, etc. So that's the rate confirmation for C.H. Robinson, and I'll show you what a rate confirmation for Nolan's Transportation looks like. So for them, they have their load number up here. They'll have the carrier sales rep. So this is the broker which you booked the load with. Their after hours team, and then this would be your carrier's information, and this is how much this load is paying. And then you have some additional terms and conditions. And then down here is the pickup and drop information. Looks like this is adhesives, and it weighs at 39,000 pounds, a bit over 39,000 pounds. Here are some special instructions. This one says detention is 3 hours free at the shipper. So basically meaning your driver, the shipper has up to 3 hours to load the trailer. If it's longer than 3 hours, that's when your driver starts to incur detention pay. And again, we'll talk about detention pay in the future modules. So I'll scroll down, and this is where you would sign this rate confirmation. So you would, if you have Adobe Acrobat, which I highly recommend, you'll sign it here. You'll just type, your position. You don't necessarily have to type that in here, but the two most important things is the signature and the date. And you'll also have your driver's name here, and you'll put your driver's cell number, tractor number, trailer number. For this specific broker, we had emailed all that information to them, so that's why we just put the bare minimum here. But yeah, this is the basic rate confirmation. And one thing I forgot to mention is, as you can see here, this one has the signature portion here, which you have to sign and send back. And if you've noticed, these rate confirmations don't have like a signature line. And the reason for that is because these were electronically signed. So the broker sent a link to electronically sign them, and once they're electronically signed, that's when the rate confirmation was obtained fully. So that's what a rate confirmation looks like. So I hope that was very useful for you. And if there's any confusions or questions, just let me know.